That's a nice coffee. So, hi, we're back again for another Where's Your Head At podcast. My name's Adrian.
I'm Katie.
And I am Jim from Black Dog Days.
And what are Black Dog Days?
A decidedly average band that have been kicking about for far too long.
No. Average band. Psh, you wouldn't be here if it was an average band.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah, we're here to talk about mental health, just how people have been doing, how you've been getting on, and if there's any advice you want to give anybody out there. So let's get right into it. How you doing, Jim?
Yeah.
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Okay.
What's been getting you through the last couple of months? Because we're at this stage of lockdown now where it's been going off and on and on and off, and it's getting to everybody, I think.
Yeah, I think the last few months have been easier.
Yeah.
Purely because I've been back at work, I think.
Right,
I think when the first lockdown, you're stuck in the house for 6 months, and it was a struggle. It was really quite difficult. I'm not saying that work's the best place to be, but at least you're in contact with other people. There's something happening, you can get a chat with folk and stuff. So
your only contact's not just going to the shop and avoiding people sneezing on you and stuff.
Aye, pretty much.
It's a fun game.
Pensioners kicking about Asda with their mask, just like just their nose and
the big runny noses.
The ones with the plastic shield that they lift it up to look at things. You're like, cool.
I've seen some things.
It has been an interesting year for that. So obviously lockdown, are we on number 3? Obviously better than number 1. How did you manage and how did you cope through lockdown the first time around? Did you cope, or was it?
Nah, not well at all.
No.
Really struggled.
What did you find you were struggling most with in relation to, like, no seeing people or no gigging or?
For me, I think it was just no seeing my friends.
Right.
I think I've had the same close group of friends for years.
Yeah.
There's nobody really came into that group or left that group. We've been really tight, most of us for school.
Aye.
Then after school, there was a couple that joined, but you're talking the majority of our life we've been together as a group. So
that's the people you've known since you were tiny wee.
Aye, and as soon as that's kind of taken away from you and you're left on your own, you can start to feel a wee bit lost. I mean, we done like the Zoom quizzes and stuff.
Right, aye.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where after about 3 or 4 of them, I was like, this is shit. Like, it's no the same as like going to the pub or going up to somebody's house for a barbecue.
No. Yeah.
Like it was a good laugh, but it was. I spoke to my mate Andy about this. At the end of the day, you were sitting here in a drink and trying to treat it like it was a normal thing, but you turned your Zoom call off, and then it was just you sat in the house pissed on your own, which is
the worst thing.
Yeah.
Which is rotten.
It's very isolating.
It was bizarre. I didn't think anybody was.
Yeah, I think I tried the Zoom call thing once, like doing a quiz thing. Fucking hated it. Decided that was the one and only time it would be happening.
I never quite got though how Zoom became so popular. I thought like Skype would take, like, what happened to Skype?
Skype's rubbish now.
Skype died a death.
I don't know, like, you would have thought this would be the point where they would excel.
Didn't Microsoft buy Skype?
Oh,
and then it went downhill from there.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Sorry, let's keep this is how my head works. But yeah, so obviously you got back to work. Did you manage to get back to work after the lockdown kind of eased last year? So kind of the summertime, or was it a bit after that when your work returned?
I'm trying to think when I went back to work. I think I was off for about 6 months when the lockdown. When was it? Was it May when it first came into?
March, actually, yeah.
Was it March?
Yeah. It's been a year.
I think it was about six months I was off. Maybe not as much as that. Maybe more. It's all a blur. But I was off for quite a while, and going back to work, it was weird. It was like starting a new job. It was people that I've worked with for years, and going back in, it felt nice to get back to work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you were still, your workmates and your mates and your family are two different things.
Aye, so separate.
It's all right when you're folk at work that you can hear laugh with and get on with, but it's not the same as like being able to go and see your grandparents or spend any time with them or see your friends. And
have you been able to, so when things kind of eased obviously at Christmas and stuff, we had a lull of moments we could go and catch up with people. Have you been able to see people more, or go out walks and stuff with folk and things?
Yeah, when it eased off, we had a couple of like barbecues and stuff, which was nice. But I found it quite weird. Like I said, it's people that I've known for ages, but I've like in my head, I felt like I was struggling to make conversation with these people that I've known forever. I just felt like I'd been that isolated for that long that I was like, I didn't care what to talk to them about, like anything. Doesn't matter.
And then you do start talking, and it's like, what have you been up to? Well, same as you, because we've all been in the same boat. And then that makes it even worse. Then you get in your own head about that. I don't know about you, but I definitely get in my own head about those conversations. Cause I'm like, this person doesn't want to have this conversation. I don't want to have this conversation.
I was always like that before,
right?
Like, before even the lockdown started. Like I used to talk about mental health and stuff. I was I'd message people, and if they didn't reply to me in like 15 minutes, my head would just go into an overdrive. Like, you've upset them, you've done something, you said something last time you were there, you've not messaged them back this one time, they didn't want to talk to you, this, that. Then you get a message back saying, oh, sorry mate, I was in the shower.
Aye.
And you used to sit and get angry at myself. I was like, why are you doing this to yourself?
That's totally normal though. Like, everybody goes through that to some extent. I know that for sure. Like,
it is really common how often it happens. And I think, you often, like, people are like, oh, that was stupid. And you're like, no, that was just what my brain was telling me. And you can't silence that little voice. If you could bottle up how to silence that voice and sell it, you'd be a millionaire. That would be amazing. But yeah, so how are you feeling then? Obviously things are, I don't want to say we're at the end of this, because I don't think we are, but there's light coming and there's things are opening up. Obviously, like, hairdressers are now a thing again. Woohoo. But how are you feeling at the idea of like being back in that group of people again? Is there a comfort level to it, or is there a bit of fear at the same time?
I'd say there is. Like, I managed to meet up with a couple of my friends not long ago, and again, I've kind of felt like I was struggling to get into the conversation to start with. But it's mostly just, I think that kind of helped me. It's like, you came what you're doing. Like, don't be daft about it. Like, they're your friends. They're friends with you for a reason. You're friends with them for a reason. You've got things in common. You can talk. So that's kind of passed, and it's just me looking forward to spending a proper bit of time together. Like, one of my friends is getting married soon, and like looking forward to that, going to the wedding, and hopefully everything's properly cleared up by then. Because
something a little bit different.
Be nice to have a celebration instead of
like that's like my wee brother got married, and their wedding got pushed back so many times, and eventually ended up just like really limited numbers. It still had a nice day and stuff, but obviously with how long it takes to plan a wedding, it was nobody ever thought it was going to come to this. So it was kind of it's not really what you were planning, but it's good that there is, like you said, it's probably not going to be completely wrapped up anytime soon, but it's nice that there's something
to look forward to, maybe.
Aye, maybe. So,
because obviously as well, there's talk of, I know gigs and things are kind of on hold still a little bit just now, and it's more kind of virtual. How are you feeling about, are you looking forward to going back to live gigs and things? Would that be something good for you, or is that not such a big deal?
Well, Jamie, the guitarist in the band, I phoned him the other day. I think he said that we've got our first gig booked, which is sometime in November at the Dreadnought.
Okay.
And I was genuinely buzzing about it. But for me, no other reason than just getting out of the house and playing music. Like, I've really not done much music-wise through the full lockdown. I'm not.
Yeah, you were saying before though that you do music just for yourself. And you're not really in it for the business side of things.
Nah, never.
And
When I started playing, when I was younger and I started playing guitar, I always just wanted to play guitar so that when I'm kind of old and decrepit and can't do anything else, I'd still be able to play a guitar. And I'm lucky enough that I've got a half decent voice so I can sing. It's a nice,
very good voice. Go check their music out.
It's a nice combination to be able to sit and do. So it's good for that. But even that's something that I've not done a lot of. Just playing for myself. It got to a point where I just, what's the point? I had nothing to write about either. When it comes to writing songs, there was nothing to write about. There was no inspiration when you're looking at the same four walls. All the time. A bit of
life to happen for things to actually start.
You need to be out and about and seeing things. So
never thought of that actually. That there's probably a lot of people lacking inspiration for content, not just like musicians, but probably like everything from poets to like film writers and things.
When was the last time a good movie came out? I've been missing films for over a year now.
I mean, I only seen the first Bourne film like 2 weeks ago. So like,
See, I would quite happily
I was
go
going
back
to work like, oh, have any seen that Bourne Identity? What a movie, by the way. It was like 7 years ago, Jim.
Well, by the time you've caught up, the new one might actually come out, so it might time it quite well there. But yeah, I suppose that is a total creativity block for everyone. Just that it is, and it's the same thing when you meet up with friends that you really want to see people, but there's not much to talk about that's happened.
Yeah.
What do you find like creatively gets your kind of juices going? Like what kind of, is it just a bit of everyday life but with something mixed in, or is it just whatever comes to you?
I wrote like 4 songs in the space of a week. Like shortly after when me and my wife split up and before we were divorced and stuff, like I had a bit of a rough time. So I wrote like a lot of songs, and my songwriting's bizarre. I wouldn't sit and say that all my songs like mean something truly to me, and they're all these experiences I've been through. Sometimes it's just words that I think sound good.
Yeah.
But there was quite a lot of real stuff in they songs, and I never ever was one for saying that songs were inspired by a specific thing, but I think that definitely did inspire me to write those songs, and it was more just to get those feelings out.
Yeah.
I like, it's nice, like whether you're a good songwriter or not, whether anybody's ever going to hear it, sometimes even if you just write that down and you put a melody in your head, or like poetry and you write something down, even if you just fold that up and put it away, sometimes it's nice to just get that off your chest and it doesn't weigh so heavy on your mind.
Yeah.
So I use that sometimes. There's been a couple of songs I've wrote that I'll never ever like anybody will never hear them.
Right.
But it's like you've wrote it and you've just went, yeah, that's how I feel.
But then again, you're doing it, like you said, you do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's that. And that's, I find that quite admirable, because there's a lot of musicians out there that'll write a melody and try and flog it as hard as they can.
Yeah, like power to them. I mean, the way that I look at it isn't going to be the way everybody does.
No.
But I was always like, I never had a real passion for anything. Like, never, you see, like when I was in school, everybody wanted to be a football player. Like, I play 5-a-sides with my pals, that's good enough for me. I played for a couple of rugby teams when I was younger. Good enough for me. Rode motorbikes,
Yeah.
like for a bit, like scramblers when I was younger. Just bits of everything. As long as I enjoyed it at the time, I was happy with that. I never felt any need or desire to push myself, be the best there ever was at this and become world renowned for it. I'm just
happy.
Yeah.
I'm just happy being a guy.
But I think that's something that like some people would kill for that happiness, because I think society has made people that a lot of people feel they have to be driven and they have to tick this box, and you know, they have to get more likes on Instagram and Facebook, and the more likes the more they're loved, and actually
that baffles me when people put a picture up on Instagram and it disappears and they'll take it down because it didn't get enough likes, and you're like,
did you not like it? Like, is that
like, if you liked it enough to post it, then
it should die.
like it yourself, give yourself an extra one, see if that makes you, like if that takes you to the 20 mark, like your own picture, nobody cares.
I already do that.
Or like it first, get the ball rolling, like it, but to
get
take
the first comment in.
to take it down, like
what was it, the comment I posted, might delete later, or felt cute.
Felt cute, might delete later.
And you're like, why would you delete? Don't delete.
I've got an Instagram, I've had it for ages, and it's like a barren wasteland. Like occasionally I put a picture up, and like it's one of the things. Obviously, you can follow who you want. You're only going to see what you want to see.
Yeah.
But I feel like people follow like loads and loads of people, like celebrities, that lead these extravagant lifestyles, and then for some reason it makes them feel bad that they're not doing that, and like they're not doing enough. But
They're trying to compare themselves to something that doesn't exist and isn't real.
oh yeah, like even all the pictures that you see are so like manufactured. Like, oh, a quick selfie on the beach, but then there's like 40 lights and two cameramen and a roadie behind them.
I had to put like 5 hours of Photoshop work into it. And
Like, my mate Lewis, he's like really outdoorsy. Like him and his brother, they've got like blow up kayaks and stuff, and they're actually meant to go away in them up north and stuff. It's brilliant. But they were away one day at a loch, and I mind when he told me this, he saw a guy and a lassie who waded into the water, splashed a bit of water on themselves, taking a couple of pictures, and then just got back in the water.
oh my days! So they actually missed the whole fun part of it. just to get a picture.
But then the way that you look at that is like, is the fun for them like seeing the likes rolling in?
Yeah.
Is that fun?
Well, that's that addiction thing, eh? Like
There's-
the way it's all set up and the way that you scroll through a news feed and stuff like that, it is set up to be like that addiction, like the like.
Yeah.
But
and
it just baffles me.
I think
Maybe
the
I'm
best-
just too
yeah.
old.
well,
Yeah.
didn't I called it MSN the other day. So.
There was like a young lass who started at my work. Is like she was just kind of organising nuts and bolts and stuff for the cases.
Right.
And there was like a guy in the work, and they were kind of like flirting with each other. And I went, "Oh, he's going to go home at night and talk to each other on MSN." She looked at me. She said, "What's MSN?" I was like, "Oh God, no!" Like MSN was life. Like you talk to people all day in school and go home and talk to them some more
Yeah.
on MSN.
But then you just used to talk to them and be like, I'll meet you at the park. See you.
It was
You just have to
ridiculous.
trust your pals to know ditch you.
Yeah, and you used to get like the wee stupid like knocking hands and stuff and all the wee stickers and that.
BRB.
Yeah.
AFK.
But yeah, I think now though social media is quite powerful in that sense. But having a social media cull is like the most fun thing when you get rid of all those celebrities that make you feel bad and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I've discovered I really like house conversions. That's now what my Instagram is mostly made up of.
Nothing to do with all the construction we're doing.
No, every time I find a new account, I'm like, oh, we should do this now. So yeah, I think the wee culls are sometimes quite good to get rid of the random
Stuff.
crap.
I got rid of Facebook. I got rid of Facebook because I was just like, nah.
Do you find that had an impact on your mental health, getting rid of Facebook and just taking that bit out? Because I know for some people Facebook's more stressful than.
I don't know if it was more from my mental health or like when I got rid of Facebook, it was when I was about to get divorced, and to me, deleting Facebook was going to be less painful than
Right.
going through and erasing
Okay.
the history, like erasing all the pictures and all the like if we'd went on holiday and stuff and deleting everything, which I suppose I wouldn't have to. I mean, it's part of something that I'd done, and
it's just your
it's
life,
not that
it's your experience.
It's
and-
not that I'd need to delete it. I just at the time, I certainly didn't feel like I was strong enough to cope
Yeah.
with ever hearing that. So it was easier for me just to delete that, and then I didn't have to worry about it. It's a case of just shutting my mind off to it. And I've never ever thought like, oh, I need to get Facebook again. Like I miss Facebook, and I've still got Messenger.
Yeah.
Like I've still got the Messenger that was attached to it. And it kind of cements that I didn't need Facebook because it tells you like who's online, and I'm looking at the people online. I'm like, I don't know you. I was
Why
like,
are you even on the
there's
friend
people
list?
that like I remember have added me in that, and they like sat next to me in school. And I'm like, I don't like you. It's like we weren't friends. Like, so if you weren't friends with someone in school and they're on your Facebook, it can only be to be nosy.
Yeah.
Like
aye.
you didn't need to
What
get
have
in.
you been up to?
Like, look at all my
5 kids and
It's the ones
no
that like,
husband.
it's the ones that add you, and then you maybe add them for a bit and you delete them, and then they try and add you again. You're like, no, there was a reason. There was a reason you hit delete.
Yeah, I had somebody add me once and then message me. And it's like, do I know you?
You added me. Aye, yeah.
I'm like, what?
'Cause I have this thing where I'll only accept friend requests for people that either I know or that I know I've met them before, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I scroll through it every now and again, and there's hundreds of people on there, and it's just like, why would you add someone that you don't know? Or if you do want to get in touch with them for a specific reason, just message.
Yeah.
You know, that's not hard to do. They might be your friend.
It's like you end up with all these people that you've like maybe met once day, and it's always like, "Oh, happy birthday, mate! Hope you have a great day." And you're like, "Ah,
Who are you?
you wouldn't care it was my birthday if it wasn't
No.
on Facebook."
Aye,
And
yeah.
you're like, so like I was just.
I forget everybody's birthday.
I didn't
though,
miss.
so.
Oh, I know my birthday and my wee brother's, and that's it.
I have to admit, one of the reasons I haven't deleted Facebook is the birthday thing. I need to
Right.
sit and take everyone's birthday off it, and I
Well,
might be able to.
You know, you can copy the Facebook calendar thing with all your
okay.
friends' birthdays in it, and you can put it in your
It's
calendar.
this, but then you've got
thing.
sneaky friends who delete their birthday off it, and then you have to like, you're like, I think it's
Or
about
or
this
you
day.
or you deliberately set the birthday to a wrong day, so when
See
folks
how
start
folk
saying
do it.
happy birthday, you're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I just try and like hopefully remember, or I wait until I see you on Instagram. But I always message whoever's birthday it is. I just message them instead of putting in a group chat, and I'll always message them and say happy birthday.
Aye.
Yeah.
I usually go like, go fuck yourself. I mean, sorry, it's your day.
But like I've not Facebook for like 4 years, and every year my mum still puts like a collage of me up, and she's like, happy like 28th, 29th, 30th birthday to like my son and all that stuff. And my mate Andy sends me, he's like, your mum's still doing that. But then underneath it's like my mum's friends.
Right,
They're like,
okay.
Oh, happy birthday, Jim. It's like, I can't
You'll
see
never
that.
see
You're talking to my mum. You're like
Maybe
they're like saying happy
yeah.
birthday to me through her on social media I don't have.
You're like,
Maybe, like,
thanks, Auntie
screenshots
Janet.
in.
You could have just phoned me.
Like all these people that you've maybe thought don't like you, but like, no, they've been commenting, just you've never seen it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
it's just aye.
Like, they are
Facebook's that double-edged sword though. It can either be really good for you, at the same time it can be really fucking bad for you. Because 9 times out of 10 there's some bell end on there that's posting up, oh, living my best life. And then maybe you're just having that one off day and you see all they're living their best life bullshit and you're just like, fuck off, that's not real.
Then you've got you've got the other extreme as well though, and you've got the people who use it to rant and be really negative, and you're like, I can't deal with that either. I'm like, the ones who just complain about stuff and tag like the restaurant's like, this was awful, and I'm like, really, you're that person.
Complain about
Yeah.
Hoovers and
I think
stuff.
negativity rubs off as much as like the lies and stuff on social media, and it does.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful with who you and watch, and yeah.
I think that's one of the good things about not just being quite happy where you are, and no really, especially with music. Like I'm happy to see other people doing really well,
Yeah.
and it doesn't bother me. Like whether like I'm not gonna like everybody's music or every song that a local artist brings out, but if it does well, like great, power to them.
It's
Like
good to be-
there's no bit of me that's like, if I just tried to be a bit harder, I could maybe do that. I play gigs and my mates come and see us and we'll have a drink after it, and sometimes put a bus on if there's enough folk, and sometimes the best part of the nights is the bus back.
Aye.
Everybody's had a drink and just hear a sing song on the butt, and it's great. And
I miss the bus
quite happy.
sing songs.
Oh yeah.
Or the Goyle caravan after parties and
Oh yeah, that ended at like 5 a.m. after the like 5 noise complaints, and somebody just phoned the police.
Yeah.
Didn't
You're, like,
even
stressing
contact
with-
the
yeah.
campsite, just phoned the police. I'm like, oh yeah.
I feel like stressing we are professional. Like it's fine.
I mean, this might not be when I'm working. I'm just saying, in general.
I actually watched there's like a couple of videos on my Instagram of that when we had like people in and we were singing, and there's a guy in the background rolling a fag in one of the videos, and I still to this day didn't ken who it is. But I remember like my mate Frankie was like outside and there was people walking past. He was like, "Do you want to come in for a party?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Well, the more folk in here, the less people can complain."
That's a good logic.
That was his
yeah,
logic. But it's great if you have like a mansion or a manor house, like when it's a static caravan.
with 2 rooms.
And there's like 20 people on this one corner couch. Like there was a keyboard out at one point, a
Yeah,
drum box, 3 guitars, and but
I
yeah,
think my hand still hurts for that cajon. Like, my wee tiny hands aren't built for playing new things.
that means things like that, like hearing the memories like that when it's with people that you care about, and hearing like just a good time in the moment. I think that's better than having to worry about what could be,
Yeah.
or worrying about ever try to.
There's a lot to be said for being mindful and living in the moment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that kind of strive too hard to get that best life, and then they forget to live their life as they're trying to get there.
Yeah, but that's like I say to you. I think a lot of people, and a lot of things, they maybe take themselves too serious at an early stage of what hopefully becomes their career.
Yeah.
But I've seen people who will just refuse to have a good time at a gig. They want to be so professional, and like that's fine. I understand that, but there's a difference between being professional and like looking like you're hating every minute. Like you can go too far and it just looks like you're hating being there, and it's almost like it's work for you.
Yeah.
Like, enjoy it while you can, because the music industry and like any kind of professional, like once all eyes on you, then you have to be.
Yeah, when
you
you're-
have to be doing this.
When
and you
your
have to be doing
business
that.
starts taking off, then you've got to take it seriously.
And then it like I'm not saying that it wouldn't be fun, but it's not going to be the same as when you were just doing it for you.
Yeah, a
So
couple
I
of
think-
your mates at the pub. put on a
I think
couple
it's
of
quite
gigs.
important just to enjoy it, and I think that's what we've always
Is that how you guys
tried to do.
kind of came to be? So is it, I take it the group of friends that you're with, is that who the band is? Is that how you kind of got together?
The band,
Was that a different something?
no, the band's been through a fair few changes.
Oh, okay.
The band started when Harley's was still a thing.
Oh, Harley's, yeah,
So-
Badgate Massive.
So
So interesting when you go in there now and you're like, this is just a restaurant.
the band started. There was a group of my mates in school started a band, and I was like, I'll sing. I can sing. They're like, I've got a singer. I was like, I'll play guitar. I'll play guitar. It's like, Lewis and Carl are playing guitar. I'm like, bass. Like, Scott's playing bass. I'm like, what have you not got? Like drums. I was like, right, fine, I'll play drums. My wee brother Jack had a drum kit at the time, and like they made me audition. It was ridiculous.
What age were you?
We were definitely out of school.
So
About
well organised.
17, 18 maybe, I can't remember, it was that long ago. But yeah, they came to my house and like I played, I think it was Live Forever I played by Oasis on the drums, and it's like the most basic drum line ever, just like so bad. But yeah, I got the gig, and we played one gig and then just disbanded.
like loads of bands for trailers.
It was what a show, it went down in history.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then Jamie wanted to keep the band going, so Jamie and Scott and me, we kept the band going. And Curl, we got a boy in to play drums, and then eventually he left, and then Curl left to go to university. He stays in Ireland now. And then we got another drummer. Then we got Jack, and then the bass player left, and we got another bass player. Then the bass player came back. When Scott came back the second time, and then eventually Scott left again, and we got Jamie's now brother-in-law into playing. The four of us now, it's kind of the setup. If it was anybody was to leave or have to leave for any reason, I think that'd be it.
That'd be it.
I think we've had enough lineup changes. We've played a lot of good gigs and that together now, and had a lot of good times, and we've wrote some of our best stuff. Well, and it's the stuff that we've enjoyed playing the most.
Where can the people hear it?
Oh yeah, where can they
tune in?
Spotify.
You got any stuff on YouTube?
Oh yeah.
You got the videos?
Yeah, we've got some videos, yeah.
The cool videos. Amy's a good one. Yeah.
Amy was a good video. But that was the last like serious. Oh no, Breathe was quite a serious video. Breathe was quite somber. That was filmed in a church. It was very sad. Speaking about songs that mean something to me, that is one that does. That song was about my great grandfather.
Yeah.
But that was one of the few that actually meant something to me.
Was that one of those cases when you were writing it? It was quite cathartic and
I wrote it when I first started playing guitar and writing. It just kind of sat for ages, and we'd recorded a version of it before that sounded nothing like the version we released. We recorded it again when we were a bit better because we were pretty rotten. When you listen back to some of the original stuff, it was terrible. We were writing songs like how we thought it had to be, like verse, chorus, bridge, solo, chorus.
Structured.
It was god awful, honestly. If I could go back in time, I'd slap myself.
Get that 5-bar break in there.
It was so, like Jamie playing guitar solos out of key and stuff, like just like try to bend.
There's still some people that are guilty of that.
Yeah, it was a bit.
You have to go through a bad phase to get to the better bit, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've definitely got better. I don't think we'd have been able to keep going for the length of time we have if we were still playing the music. I'd absolutely would get booed off stage. It was bad, but
you do mix it in there with some banging covers though. So I love a good cover.
Yeah, we've always tried. Like our covers are stupid.
Yeah, I mean, but that's why they're so good.
I don't think there's any point. Like for the style of music we play, like the kind of rock and like almost like in a bluesy aspect to it sometimes. For that
southern kind of.
It'd be pointless if we went up and just done like a cover of like Foo Fighters or like a Biffy Clyro cover, like all that kind of same energy. So yeah, 5.
Get 5 in there.
5. Or like we done Bruno Mars Uptown Funk, and like, do that. Like that's the kind of
shout out to 5. I'm going to tag them and get them to listen.
Does that mean that come November for the Dreadnought gig, have you got some special covers lined up for this?
I've not actually thought about it. Nah, well, I think for the Dreadnought gig we were toying with the idea of bringing back some really old songs that we've not done for ages, but they're recorded and they're on SoundCloud, but they're locked, so it's like only I can hear them. And but listening to them, I was like, there's aspects of it that hold up, and I'm like, if we played it now as better musicians and like just better overall at our instruments and stuff,
some new life into it.
We might be able to do it, so we might do that. But
looking forward to that.
Covers wise, I will have to do. Have to do something.
You'll have to up the ante. Everyone's been dying for the gig for the past year, so.
Okay, that's the worst thing as well. It's all well and good looking forward to it, but what if we suck?
No, not at all.
I don't even think it matters if you suck. Like, I think everyone would just be so happy for the gig.
It was always good catching you guys at Whistle Binkies at the like during the Edinburgh Festival as well.
Oh yeah, Whistle Binkies was great.
Going to like 5 a.m, and just dancing, listening to all the covers you were doing, and
like Whistle Binkies has always been great for us. It was good that you can helped us make money to record stuff.
Yeah,
started off on a Thursday night, then the early slot, and eventually worked our way up to getting the headline slots on a Saturday night, which is great. But I was mind one of our first times there was like they bring in a lot of tourist groups.
Yeah,
and there was a group. There was like 4 or 5 lasses for the Philippines there, and once we finished our set, they asked for pictures of us, and they were on stage getting their picture taken with us, and then they were asking us for autographs, and we were still pretty rotten at this point. And I can mind looking at Jamie and just thinking, they think we're someone else. Like they think we're like a big deal, and we're not. Like it was really bizarre. But then looking back, and it was great. Like I just, the things like that, the kind of stories that we still talk about that stay with, and we stayed and we had a drink with them and all that stuff. Like I feel like if you were trying to get serious, like we could have just packed our stuff up and marched out there like we were a big deal. Yeah. And like we've got other gigs to do now and stuff like that. But
then you would have missed that memory and not had that opportunity to.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, that attitude's definitely hurt us as well. Especially when we were younger. We didn't take it as serious as we could have. I mean, we played a gig at the engine room when it was still the engine room, and the drummer would have been as well just slapping about the drums with a pair of flip-flops because everyone was out of time and it was awful and we were all drunk, and just looking back and it was embarrassing.
Oh, drinking before a gig, that's danger.
Yeah, it was.
I still, even when I see like musicians like yourself or anybody else that I've worked with over the years, even when I see them taking a drink before they go on, I'm just like, oh. 9 times out of 10, it's okay.
Yeah, I think we've got better at it. I don't know if we've I don't know if we're better at music or better at drinking, but I've not had anything like that. Especially if you can make it through gigging the Goyle and play a decent set, you're doing alright. Because we played on the Saturday and we'd been there since early on Friday. Yeah. So
still remember that morning.
Like the drinking didn't really stop. So if we made it through our set, then we're alright. We'll manage.
Should we tell them about the story about the first time we met? How we locked eyes across the caravans?
It was awful. It was so bad.
We'll save that for another time.
Have you not heard that?
Well, we weren't in the same caravan. We were looking at the kitchen windows across the way at each other.
We met the night before. It was the first time I'd ever met you, and we were up there to play a set, and everybody was, I was bursed. And in the morning, I can remember waking up and crawling from the bed to the shower in the caravan, and I got myself cleaned up. And I had a towel wrapped in my waist, and I went to the kitchen. I was raking through the cupboards for a cup, like a big cup, but it was a caravan, so it's like tiny wee cups. So I ended up getting a fruit bowl, and I emptied it out, and I just had water in it for like fully brim. And I walked out the door,
and
I was just sipping it like half dead. And I looked up, and Adrian was just kind of like hanging out his window, like, "Hey, you want some water?"
And then the rest was history.
Yeah. That's how you make a friend.
Yeah. Yep. That's how you make
friends for life.
If I'd been sober and not enjoying myself and taking it too serious, then I would have drove home that night and missed everything.
Who needs LinkedIn when you've got
like forget about all these social media apps. Just offer somebody a bowl of water.
Not like a dog, but like, you know.
Not like
it's a good lesson for life though. Just be friendly, always offer.
Yeah, be friendly.
Always share.
You never know what opportunities I'll be walking you by there. Share the water bowl with someone. So is there any like anything you want to say to people that are listening or watching, like how you tackle mental health and how you like deal with things? Is there any kind of tips or pointers, or is it just
talk to somebody?
Talk to someone.
That sounds easy. I mean it when I say it, but at the same time I'll hear myself say it and I'll hear other people say it and I'm like, it sounds so stupid. Yeah. Because it seems so simple, and it is, but it's not.
It's not.
If that makes sense. I'm lucky enough that the group of friends that I've got were quite open about it. So we're able to tell each other and able to talk through it, find a solution to it, reassure each other. Like when I first was really struggling with it, was one of my mate Andy had said to me, it's like, you need to go to the doctor. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, other folk do it, I've done it. Like loads of people who do this, just go to the doctor. So I was like, nah, I didn't want it. And he was like, you need to go. So I went. But hearing that there, and that somebody to let you ken that it's no daft, it's no you being anything other than you. It's something you can't help, something you can't control.
It's something you need help with as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you can't go through these things yourself. You didn't need that.
Absolutely. Especially for me, like I can't go through it myself because I'm my own worst enemy when it happens.
Right.
Okay. It's as soon as I get in my own head, it's same like thinking if I message somebody and they don't instantly message me back that I've upset them. Sure. If I'm left to overthink something for too long, then it's just
festers.
Yeah, it's terrible. But even if you feel like you gotta talk to somebody, like you can. It's just taking that step. Like I can't imagine there's going to be anyone out there that has a friend reach out to them with this issue and they'll get the response. It's like, oh no, I'm busy, or I didn't really want to talk about that.
Aye,
And if they do, just sack them off.
they're
Like,
that's
get
not
rid of
the
them.
people
It's
you
not-
want to be talking to. So
You didn't want, and you'll still get people who, for want of a better phrase, like, that don't believe in it. Like, I'll just
Sure.
think, can you get people that just think, like, hey, just get on with it. Just get on with it, it's fine.
aye, have a cup of tea, go and
Yeah,
have
just-
a hot shower.
Just didn't be like that, just smile.
Takes a lot more work than
Yeah.
just smiling
It
away.
does. I can understand if people don't understand it, it makes them feel uncomfortable.
Sure.
But you're always going to have people like that about anything.
Yeah.
There's going to be any subject you talk about, there's going to be people that don't really understand it, aren't comfortable talking about it, and don't really know how to deal with it in any way. But there's enough people out there that understand
Yeah.
what you're going through, enough people that understand how you're feeling. Like, I said this at a gig, I wrote a song called Demons, and it was pretty much about that. We played it once and made a bit of a hash it. But it was very loud, very aggressive, but the lyrics, that's how it was. I was a song about how I was feeling. But I remember saying before it, to like the Dreadnought, it was packed, I was like, if there's anybody here that feels how I felt when I wrote this song and how people sometimes feel, like, if you've not got anybody else, talk to me. Like, I'll be here after we play, like, talk to me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a stranger, and sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've told people at my work, like, I've had a couple of bad days at work, and folk have maybe thought that I'm just crab at her, which I definitely come across as crab at. I mean, I've definitely,
Sometimes.
oh yeah, I was really bad for that though. Like, my mate Andy pulled me to the side one day. He was like, "You need to stop that. Like, you're just making it difficult for people to be your friends. Like, we love you, but
Aye.
you're making it very difficult because everybody else just thinks you're a twat." And I'm like, "Ah, well, cool." So I made a conscious decision that day to really work on it, and it's helped. But I said to people in my work, like, sometimes I'm just in a bad day. Sometimes I can feel really down. I don't know what to talk. And one of the boys I worked with said, like, why, like, you telling us, like, why are you so open about it? I went, well, you might feel like that too. You
Aye,
might feel
so
like that. You might know, hey, somebody to talk to. I have, so I'm quite happy. I've got people I can fall back on, so I'm quite happy to tell people. Because if you tell a room full of people, chances are somebody's feeling the same, and you might be their out. You
And
might be the one
that's
that they're going to come
connection
to.
that they
So
need, yeah.
it's when I talk about it, if I tell anybody about it, it's know that, oh yeah, I'm depressed sometimes. Yeah, I've made it through it. It's basically just offering a bridge for somebody.
Yeah.
Like, letting people know. So yeah,
It's like talking about it. You say how it's difficult, but then the more you talk about it and the more conversations you have about it, eventually it does get that little bit easier to reach out and do that first step.
yeah,
And so that's why we encourage people to talk about it as much as
Yeah.
possible and have it as like a daily part of your conversation as well. Like, because everybody's got mental health, and it's good or bad,
Yeah.
or it's something.
Spectrum.
Yeah, it's something we need to talk about more.
yeah, absolutely. There's still, I don't know why, but there's still, is it stigma?
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
word?
Yeah.
So last time, I'm terrible. I failed English in school. Don't speak good England. But
Because we're in Scotland.
yeah, oh yeah, Scotland, woo, freedom. But no, it is important to talk about it, and there is, for whatever reason, people are still scared to do it, which I get it. Been at a point where I didn't know how to talk about it. I think one of the things that helped me cope for a while is I was able to write songs and stuff, or like,
Sure.
but even if you can't do that, just write down how you're feeling. Write down on a bit of paper and
Yeah.
like crumble it up and put it in a bowl, or fold it away and put it at the bottom of your wardrobe under your pillow. Anything.
Chuck it in the bin.
Aye,
Yeah.
see, like, write a big note to yourself and put it through a shredder. Like, that might make you feel better. Sometimes it's easy if you can't offload how you're feeling on another person. Sometimes that helps.
Yeah.
But I still feel, even if you do that, at some point, the best thing you can do is reach out to somebody
Yeah.
and talk to
Yeah.
them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's a perfect note to end on. The fact that
Smashing.
Yeah.
just talk.
So
So we done where you can find and stuff. So do you know what your your band's Instagram tag and stuff is, or do you not know?
Spotify.
Just Spotify. Is it just Spotify? Right, okay.
Black Dog Days on Spotify, on
Okay.
iTunes, Instagram. I wouldn't bother with Instagram. Like,
Right, okay.
again, it's barren. Like, nailers are very good at the social media upkeep.
Okay.
But YouTube, all our music videos, some of them are quite humorous.
And there'll be tickets for the Dreadnought soon?
Yeah, we'll keep everybody posted on
Okay.
the
In
band.
fact,
The band's got a Facebook as well, but
Facebook, there you go.
so I don't know.
Follow them on
It's not you
Facebook.
that does it, but
No, it's
there
not.
will be information of gigs there.
The only I ended up, I had to get a Facebook account to do a thing when Gary Evans was doing his 50 Shades.
Oh, right.
So I got a Facebook so you could send me something. So it's just like a faceless, just
Right,
made
yeah.
it. But I used that to sometimes check on the band page, and
Sure.
the last time I was on, it was when we got mentioned on The Chase.
The Chase.
But
Oh,
it wasn't us that got
Wasn't
mentioned on
you?
The Chase. But, some guy in England was like, his band's called Black Dog Days, and we got like loads of people commenting on a post like, we saw you on The Chase, and like, I'm here from The Chase, and we had to go through like every YouTube comment. So I was like, that wasn't us, but thanks.
Thanks. Yeah. Welcome. Now you're
Thanks
here.
for checking us out.
Now that you're here. Yeah, well, thanks very much for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
And like Jim said, if you're out there and you need to talk to someone, you can reach out to ourselves. You can slide into our DMs. You can send us an email. We've even
Text.
got a phone number.
I know.
You know, if you just want to text us, let us know if you're having a bad day, if you're having a good day. You know, it's nice to hear from people that are having good days too. And also, don't forget, we've got loads of merch for sale. So pop into the merch. You know, it's cheap. It's good quality though. It's not cheap shit. And this stuff helps us pay for the mental health support service and doing things like this. And we hope you enjoyed it. And yeah,
Hopefully.
Yeah.
thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hey.
So the dog's got past the barrier.